safety and security for the staff and the people in my care. People deserve to go home at night. They deserve to go home alive. Secondly is retention and recruitment. We have to retain the people that we have to build a better staff to make sure that we're serving the county as we should. And third, my heart and passion is reopening the juvenile detention center. If we're going to have to house juveniles, they need to be housed in our county where they can be close to their family. Thank you.
Candidates, the SBI is actively investigating claims of threats, retaliation, and misconduct by Sheriff Garry McFadden. What would you say to voters who are concerned after hearing these allegations? Rodney Collins, we'll start with you.
What I would say to the voters concerned about this is that I believe that the SBI will do a competent and very thorough investigation. It will be comprehensive. It will be detailed. I think they will find results that clearly show a lack of leadership and competence as it pertains to the incumbent sheriff. I believe that it's critically important that in this role that you model and exhibit professional conduct and behavior, regardless of where you are or how you conduct your business. It always needs to be professional. It needs to be done with tact. It needs to be done with competence and skill. So the SBI investigation will yield certain results, I'm sure. There are a lot of things that are out there to unpack as it pertains to the incumbent sheriff's conduct, and I think those things will come to light through their investigation.
Mr. Nance?
Yes, sir. So here's the thing. How many people have to die in the sheriff's office at the jail? How many officers have to be attacked before people realize that the sheriff is not competent to run this organization? So he's been in office for 7 years. Record amount of deaths, record amount of attacks on officers. Chief deputies stepping down, 2 within 12 months of each other. What does it take? So people, all they need to do is they need to get the complaint, read it themselves, and understand that this doesn't happen randomly. I know some of the people who actually filed that petition, and these people are very trustworthy. So check it out, read it, and don't ignore the signs.
Mr. Robbins?
Yes, sir. Well, I can tell you, I have over 20 years of investigative experience.
Leader, accountability. Harvard University did a study on Black leadership. If you look at it, it says 43% of the people who work for a Black sheriff has a problem with a Black sheriff. That's Harvard study. 23% of that will be people who are directly underneath you. Your direct people will sabotage your leadership. So we expect it. But here's what I'm going to say. We welcome it. We welcome the investigations. We welcome it. But you have to also think about this. In the middle of it, a judge dismissed it.
And Mr. McFadden, I'm going to give you 30 seconds to respond to Mr. Collins and Mr. Nance. They said that you have a lack of leadership in your office. They called you incompetent. Would you like to respond?
Well, the gentleman here was part of my leadership. Is it only under my administration or the past administration? We are not unique. If you go to any business in the world and talk about, do you have problems inside? Absolutely. Do you demand accountability? I do. Do you demand transparency? I do. And so that may be something uncommon from the good old boy system that they once lived under, because we are accountable and we are progressive. But look where I have taken this office to be nationally ranked.
Mr. Collins, do you buy what the sheriff is saying, that this is just political?
I absolutely do not buy what the sheriff is saying, and it's not political. Those things, those allegations that have been made about his particular conduct are factual and accurate, and those things will be proven. Also, cloaking accountability as opposed to rude, disorderly conduct, unprofessional conduct, calling your employees racial slurs, those type of things are not befitting of a sheriff. So no, I don't believe anything that he says.
We have a lot to get to tonight. We have an hour.
Have
We
a
have
rebuttal.
30 seconds.
If he doesn't believe anything I've said, why did I promote him twice inside the agency? If I don't believe it, you know, he says that he is a deputy sheriff, a chief deputy. Okay, he was a chief deputy under another administration, but he believes that, and want the audience to believe that he just made it through the rank. No, he was selected by me. So if he doesn't believe what I said, why did he take the positions that I believe that he could do? This is what Harvard was saying. The people directly under you will sabotage you.
Mr. Collins, real quick, and then we have to get to the next question.
Let me make something inherently clear. I was promoted to sergeant, captain, major, and chief deputy. He did retain me when he took office, but he didn't promote me at all. So I want to make that very clear to the voters that I was already a chief deputy when he walked in the door.
We have a lot to get to. I'm sure it's going to come up again, Sheriff. Let's get to the next question, though, because we want to make sure we have a lot of topics and we want to make sure the voters hear from them and you.
The Mecklenburg County Sheriff's Office and Immigration and Customs Enforcement has not always seen eye to eye. Under your leadership, what sort of relationship would you and your office have with ICE? We want to begin with Mr. Nance.
Yes, ma'am. So as far as ICE is concerned, I don't believe they should have complete autonomy over people in this county. We've seen different states how they have been killing people and murdering people, and this erodes public trust. So I like the fact of them having full autonomy. Now, this issue with ICE, as far as profiling people, is an issue, right? So we will follow the law. We have to follow the law. So we will follow the law. But as far as going above and beyond, we won't do that because the sheriff's office is not an immigration enforcement agency. So we will follow the law, but we won't give them full autonomy.
Mr. Robbins.
Yes, thank you. First of all, when we talk about customs enforcement, when we talk about cooperation, it's not as clear as people think, and it's not a matter of us cooperating, not cooperating with ICE, with any federal or state local agency. By law, you're required to do what the law says to do. You're not required to go above the law, below the law. So what we will do, and what is happening now, when the House bill came out and said that certain things will have to be done when we work with ICE, which is the 48-hour hold, the 2-hour notice before releasing. Those things are law. Those things that has to be dealt with. You have to go by the law and you have to deal with that. Now, secondly, when we talk about working with someone, that doesn't mean that we go out actively and we ride with ICE and help pick people up, bring them into the jail. So we're still responsible for making sure that people in Mecklenburg County are safe, but also making sure that we don't at any time avoid obeying the laws.
Sheriff McFadden.
Well, no one on this panel except me can say what should be done because they have no experience of doing it or working with ICE. They are saying what they could do. Here's what we have done. I have followed the law, North Carolina General Statute 162.62. When House Bill 10 came out, I fought it because certain things in the House bill did not meet what I believe was good for my citizens. So they went back and changed the law to House Bill 318. After 318, now we're under different guidelines. But here's what I can tell you. My relationship with ICE as today is still what I want it to be. Cooperation, collaboration, and communication. When I saw what was happening, I had ICE come to my office on October 17th, and we come to an agreement of follow my guidelines, my policies, and we will have a safer city. This is why you don't see ICE running around the courthouse with masks. So they can say what they're going to do. This is what I have done.
Mr. Collins.
I think that professionalism goes a long way. Having tact, being professional with other organizations. You have different viewpoints, and that much is very clear about our relationship as it pertains to ICE. So those things are inherently clear. The professional relationship should be just that. It's limited because we are required by law to perform certain things, and that isn't changed. That removes any discretion that a sheriff would have as it pertains to House Bill 318. But having a professional relationship with ICE is extremely important. I think the citizens are better served when there's professionalism from leadership in terms of how we deal with them and all the things that are associated with immigration and customs enforcement.
Okay, thank you.
Mecklenburg County has not had a juvenile detention center since Jail North closed in 2022, meaning children and teens are being held in other counties. As sheriff, or for you, Sheriff McFadden, over the next 4 years, will you seek to reopen Jail North? And if so, how will you do that? And we'll start with Mr. Robbins.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And that's been one of my things on my platform that I've been eager to address. Number one, we have to make sure that we're taking care of the juveniles in our county. This is their home. Juveniles are put in a place that the courts have said they need to be in. Now, by being placed in a juvenile detention center and taking that juvenile out of Mecklenburg County, number one, it separates them from their family. When you separate the juvenile detention from a family, you're isolating them. That's already putting a person that's having issues in another dimension to where they're dealing with those problems. The juvenile detention center, we know number one thing is staffing. Staffing has to be increased. So we have to first deal with the problem of staffing overall. So this is not a thing that we can wave a wand. It's going to be fixed overnight. But I know that being Mecklenburg County, the largest county in the state, there's no reason why we cannot get back on deck. When the juvenile detention center was open, it was one of the best in the state. It can be there again, and I'm intending to make sure that we get there.
Thank you, Mr. Robbins. Sheriff McFadden.
Well, we did have the best juvenile detention center in the state, and it was under my administration. After we were targeted by the jail inspectors politically, they finally said that they lied. And I've asked the governor, attorney general to investigate that, but they didn't. So the juvenile detention center really closed after the contract was up. And so we are still willing to do it. But here's what the complex part is. It takes 98 people to run that detention center. Then we're going to talk about food. We're going to talk about healthcare and all of that. $14 million to run that per year versus the $3 million that the taxpayers are paying now. So we are ready to open it. We have given them the blueprint, and we have the blueprint. It should be run under this administration because we ran the best, but finding qualified people, 98, that we're pulling from the same pool from all of the townships in Mecklenburg County, including CMPD, is going to be a problem. And while I'm still hiring for my own agency at that time.
Mr. Collins.
I believe that Mecklenburg County kids should be in Mecklenburg, close to their support networks and families. I also believe that it is inherently a state responsibility. Juvenile detention falls under the state. One of my experiences in working as a young captain at the Gatlin Juvenile Detention Center in Huntersville is it was a 30-bed facility and it had very limited usage. So we had this massive infrastructure built around how we service these kids, and it became very cost prohibitive. That's why we closed it. The same thing, fast forwarding to 2019, we go into this 3-year contract, which he was advised against. He did it anyway, only to close it in 2022 for the same reasons that dating back to 2009. So I would be an advocate for the state being able to construct, staff, and operate their own facility here in Mecklenburg, and I'd be willing to leverage whatever relationships I have to do that.
Mr. Nance.
Well, the issue with the opening of the jail is that people don't want to work for the sheriff. So you can't open a facility and bring back the juveniles if nobody wants to work for the sheriff. Targeting, the good old boy system, you have a job, a duty to serve. The people who've actually filed the petition against him were all Black. So I wanted to address that. Yeah, so people don't want to work for McFadden. And also, it does fall under the state. So they need a new sheriff. And new sheriff means new negotiations, new conversations. So That's the issue, the sheriff.
I'm going to get to the sheriff first since he was just mentioned by name.
So want to make sure that Mr. Nance did not work for me. He worked for another sheriff, and I want to make sure that he quit under another sheriff, not me. So I want to know why he quit that sheriff, but now wants to be a sheriff. So you have to understand what he's saying. Wanted to throw the ball to me. He didn't work for me. Maybe if he worked for me and saw what kind of leadership that I presented and saw where I carried this agency, he still may be here. But he did not work for me. So what was it like working for the other sheriff that made him quit?
Thank you, Sheriff. I want to circle back to Jail North and get to Mr. Robbins, though, because this is your top priority.
Correct.
You just heard from the sheriff. He says he would do it if he could. 98 staffers. He needs
Correct.
millions more in funding. What are you going to do that's different than what the sheriff is already
First
doing?
thing is leadership and culture. When the culture changes, people change. People want to work for somebody, they will work for them. Secondly, I heard him say that this is a state problem. This is not a state problem. This is our problem. Mecklenburg County is our home. We take care of the people here in Mecklenburg County. I'm not worried about what the state does. I'm worried about what I can do. The voters put you in office. You're responsible to the voters to make sure that you're adhering to what they want in their county and not go back to the voters and say, I really wish I could help you, but the state won't let you.
That is, our next question is about the staffing. Every agency says that they want to have more staff. Everyone is recruiting. There's a shortage of staff across the country. And Huntersville Police, even with the highest salary being offered, still has trouble finding applicants. So when we talk about that issue of staffing, what would you do differently to recruit and retain staff? And we talked about the financials of all of that as well. And so our first question, Mr. McFadden, you have that question.
Well, first, I want to say that we have to stop, the public and the media has to stop shedding a negative light on sheriff's office and law enforcement. We get that already. Nobody wants to work for law enforcement now because of what's happening in the media. Here's a gentleman talking about negative about being a sheriff, but he wants to be the sheriff. And so negativity like that pushes people away. We want to hire. We get applicants every single day, hundreds of them, but we have to weed out those applicants who has substance abuse, financial problem, and also criminal records. So we have the applications, but again, we are doing the best. The great resignation happened during COVID. Everybody quit. You can walk around the city and say, we help wanted. Every single agency. So we're not unique. Everybody make like this is unique. It is not unique. We will do the best we can to staff and retention, but you have to stop shedding a negative light on law enforcement.
Mr. Collins.
Retention is about leadership. And when you don't exhibit any, it's a revolving door where people running out constantly, a high rate of turnover. When you have as many vacancies as the sheriff's office has right now, that is a leadership problem. And it starts at the top. So being accountable at the top. But in terms of how you address staffing, there's a lot of things that can be done in terms of recruiting, advertising, making sure that we constantly have competitive pay and salaries and benefits for our employees, that there's a wellness component to that as well, and being intentional about professional development and growth opportunities within the organization. That is how you address your recruiting and staffing problems. Thank you.
Mr. Nance.
So it comes down to leadership and customer service, right? So if you're a great leader, people will follow you. People don't want to work there because they don't feel like they're supported. Detention officers, deputy sheriffs, all these attacks on these officers, these individuals who are dying in custody. The place is not a safe place to work. He's failed multiple inspections over the years, and this screams a lack of leadership. Coming from the CNPD, no experience in leadership at all. This is different. Me, I'm a union shop steward. I negotiate, I deal with people all the time. I make sure people are paid the right way. They have the proper health insurance and things like that. So for me, it comes down to customer service. Me, I will serve the deputies and the detention officers. I'm here to serve them, not to rule over them. So with me, pay, health insurance, these things will be better. I know how to negotiate these things, and that's what I'm looking to do, serve my employees first.
Mr. Robbins.
Yes, thank you. And I'll tell you this, what I said a few minutes ago, it starts with the culture. People will work for people who will work with them, who care about them, who care about their needs, who make sure that, number one, you're in a safe environment. Everyone wants to go home. People will make sure that they come to work, do their job when they feel supportive, when they're not threatened if something happens. And something that Mr. Collins said, I agree that it starts with leadership. Now, the problem is, from his own words before, where the sheriff's department was always up to 1,500 people, now down to a little over 700. Most of that was when Mr. Collins was there, second in command. So leadership for everyone starts at the top. So correct, we change leadership, then we can get things done. So it's not pointing the finger. When you're a part of the problem, you have to figure out how to be part of the solution. So this is just not on the sheriff. This is sheriff and the number two, because the number two is running more of the organization than the number one.
Okay. We need some opportunities for rebuttal. Sheriff McFadden, you heard them talk about leadership, about staff not feeling supported, that the jail is not safe. What do you respond?
Well, you think about what Mr. Collins says. He was a leader. He said he was a leader. Under what leadership? The same thing. This is not unique. Everybody has problems inside. We're having violent criminals housed inside a detention center. We make it like it's a kindergarten. It's not. When Mr. Nance talk about leadership, they can't talk about something that they don't know directly. They're just going on hearsay and looking from outside in. My leadership style is progressive and accountability. If we ask them, has it always been that way for them in their leadership?
And Mr. Collins, also an opportunity for you to rebut as well.
Absolutely. So we work in a hierarchical structure, same at CMPD as it is with the Mecklenburg County Sheriff's Office. And you have leadership, you have chief. Yes, I was the chief deputy, second in command. That does not mean that I walk lock and step with anything that the incumbent sheriff has done or is doing that I don't agree with. Just like with Mr. Robbins, is he responsible for all the vacancies and things that are at CMPD and problems that they're experiencing? Because he hasn't been in a management position high enough to deal with those things. So no, I don't agree with that at all.
Mr. Robbins, an opportunity for you to rebut.
Yeah, I disagree, because you're the number two and you are responsible. Responsibility lies with you. Don't say you're a leader. Don't say you're running an organization. Don't say that I'm the one making sure the operation is running smoothly. I don't care what company you're in, what business we're in. The number one guy is the figurehead who is in charge of the business. The number two guy runs the day-to-day. The sheriff doesn't lock a single door. The sheriff doesn't go down to make sure that all the people are at work. The sheriff is making sure that the whole department is running safely.
In response to the fatal stabbing of Irina Zarutska, lawmakers passed Irina's Law, targeting repeat offenders and violent crime. Supporters say it keeps suspects behind bars. Opponents say it denies due process and overcrowds the jail. Rodney Collins, we'll start with you. In your view, has Irina's Law helped or hurt the community?
It's a great question. I believe that it has done more harm than it has done good. The one good thing that I did think that came out of Irina's Law is the additional DA. So maybe cases can move through courts a little bit quicker with having additional personnel to adjudicate those cases. In terms of how it's impacted the jail population, we've seen a spike, and we're going to continue to see a spike. The jail is at capacity as it stands right now. So there are going to be some negative implications as it pertains to that. And when you're talking about trying to end the revolving door effect associated with people getting in and out of custody in a quick manner, that, over detaining people can become a problem as well.
Mr. Nance.
It's a double-edged sword, because here's the thing. People inside the jail need to be rehabilitated, but at the same time, they shouldn't be out when they commit certain crimes. So them redoing the cashless bail situation basically made it so that they have to pay for the bonds now. So these guys need to be a lot of these guys who are committing these crimes, they need to be incarcerated, because the crime in Charlotte has risen over the last 10 years exponentially. Me being from him, I've seen the difference and the change in the city. So it's helped it. At the same time, these guys are in jail and need opportunity, because these guys are raised in single-parent households. They don't have anybody to guide them and to give them direction. So they need direction. They need mentorship, they need skills. They need the opportunity to get out and make a change in their lives. So being stuck in jail for a certain amount of time, they can't really, grow as individuals. So it's a double-edged sword.
Mr. Robbins.
Yes, sir. It's not the law that's the problem. It's a lot of times when we enact laws, it's the process in which we enact them. So it's not really that the law is bad. It's the way that it was implemented, as fast as it was implemented. It takes time anytime we have a new law come on the books, because we need to make sure that because the law is there, number one, we can enforce that law. Number one, that the law works the way we intended it to work. With sheriff departments across the state, across the country, already being manpower is low, so we have a staffing issue there. Housing is already at its maximum. So when you're retaining and keeping prisoners there already, when you're bringing in new people, I don't think anybody in Mecklenburg County wants a bad person on the street, especially somebody for a violent crime. Nobody wants that person out. But we have to figure out how, since this law is here, how we're going to go about making sure that we can enforce the law properly, that people are still there, and we're still having to deal with the shortages and things that we have, not only people, but beds.
Sheriff McFadden.
Clearly, you can see again, no one is going to speak from experience but me. This is what they believe that is happening. Mr. Collins says we see a spike. He doesn't work for the sheriff's office now. So I don't know where he's saying we. I work for the sheriff's office. I see this daily. We had 1,791 bed capacity. We are now at 1,828. That's above capacity. No good has come out of this law, no matter what anybody says, because I see it daily. I deal with my staff daily. So imagine when we're talking about the staff that they say that they love, now we're putting an extra burden on them. Mental health. Yes, mental health is an issue. This is why I created the first mental health pod in the state. And we are now running the RISE program. Nothing has good come out of this, nothing. So as you can see, they're speaking what they believe. I'm speaking from experience. Arena law was a mistake because they never talked to the people who had to deal with it directly, and that's me as sheriff.
Sheriff, 30 seconds. So you say no good has come out of this law, but some people accused of violent crimes who have been repeatedly released in the past are now staying behind bars longer. Is that not a good thing?
But that is not on the sheriff. We do not release or tell people who need to be released. Bond referendum, if they want to look at that, that would be a great idea. But that is not on the sheriff. We still have people before Irena's law has been there for 6 years waiting for a trial. So it's not because of Irena's law that it makes it good. Irena law has put an extra burden on my staff and also the taxpayers of Mecklenburg County.
Mr. Collins, do you agree with the sheriff's statement that no good has come from Arena's law?
I think some good has come from it. The additional DAs is a good thing. Keeping more violent offenders incarcerated longer is a good thing. But no, overtaxing the jail and its staff is not a good thing with the way that the law is currently working, and without cashless bail and those other things that have been taken away.
Our next question is about in-custody deaths at the jail. There have been 21 in-custody deaths since 2019. Given the influx of more people at the jail and the shortage of staff, how will you keep inmates or residents and staff safe? Mr. Nance, this question goes to you first.
There's been more than 21 deaths, but I'll say this. It comes down to caring about people. As a union shop steward, it's my job, my duty to care about other people. And you have to place your people first. Your officers, you have to make sure that the inmates are they're treated humanely, right? This isn't happening at the sheriff's office, and then the deaths speak loud, right? So this individual, the sheriff, does not have any experience working inside a facility, a detention facility, prior to becoming sheriff. So he doesn't understand inmate care at all. So these deaths are a record amount of deaths under any of the previous sheriffs combined. So that screams loud, that's the issue. So it comes down to placing the people first. Your staff, making sure inmates are treated humanely. It's that simple. Place the people first.
Mr. Robbins.
Yes, thank you. Well, first of all, it's bad when we lose anybody. So it's not the number, it's the fact that we lost somebody. So we need to make sure that we're making sure that our staff are properly trained. We need to make sure that because we have a shortage, it's not a reason for somebody to die. We have to still make sure that the people there are caring for the people that are in their custody. We have to make sure that the supervisors are supervising. The jail is going to be something that's people are in there 24/7. So those people have to be watched, especially people on suicide watch. So it's not a matter of just flicking a switch. And I think you can overcome it. A lot of times the staff that you have, are we allocating the positions to the right places? Do we need to have more resources? Because in my opinion, the jail is the #1 priority, because that's where your people are. That's where lives are lost. And that's where we need to make sure that all our attention is focused, is in the jail. Then we start moving resources to other things that maybe are not as important as somebody's life.
Sheriff McFadden.
So again, let's be clear. They're speaking from what they believe. Mr. Nance is speaking what he believes about the death. If he knows about more deaths inside the detention center, he needs to tell somebody. Well, let's go there. 21 deaths. No death, let me make sure we're clear, no death in the Mecklenburg County Detention Center was done by my staff or detention officers. Let's make that clear. Also, we want to make it clear that if you look at the autopsy reports, cause and manner, nobody knows that better than me from a homicide experience. None of that contributed to the deaths. The district attorney has not charged anybody with the death. It has come from poverty, poor health, and coming in with diseases. If any one of these candidates can guarantee that there won't be any death in the Mecklenburg County Detention Center, that would be a lie. They cannot stop somebody from dying naturally. Yes, suicides did happen.
Mr. Collins.
I think that everything you do is predicated on your ability to staff. It's critically important to have adequate staffing. And then the second piece to that is ensuring that everyone goes about doing their job the way that they've been professionally trained, making sure that your healthcare provider, who we contract with, is providing excellent care for the residents of the people that are in custody. So that is critically important and can go a long way toward mitigating any potential deaths. But no candidate can stand here and ever say that there won't be a jail death in their administration. That's a fallacy. However, I believe that well-trained people, ensuring that they follow the rules, and supporting your people that are in there doing that job every day is critically important to mitigating whatever deaths we can.
Mr. Nance, the sheriff says if you know about more deaths, then you need to say something. Is there something you need to say?
Well, that's just trash talk, but I'll say this. If you care about your employees and you care about the people who are housed in your facility, you wouldn't have a record amount of deaths in your administration. It's that simple. 21 deaths, 22 deaths, 21 deaths, 10 deaths. It's too many. It's still a record amount of people dying in your facility. Saying that it's natural causes, 21 people dying of natural causes under your care, that sounds very fishy to me.
Sheriff McFadden.
So we want to go back to a rebuttal. When Mr. Collins says well-trained staff and everybody, people died before I became sheriff, when he was chief deputy and under the other administration. And I hate for him to give all this credit to the other administrations and not credit to me. People are still going to die from poverty, lack of health care, and all. So don't make it seem like it is unusual now, because they died while he was chief deputy under another administration.
Mr. Collins, a quick rebuttal, 30 seconds.
There have been jail deaths under other administrations. He leads. That much is very clear. He has more than any other administration combined. So his record is his record, and he has to own it, because he does not want to accept any personal responsibility for his own shortcomings or failings within that environment. He's never worked in a detention environment. He has no understanding of how it's supposed to operate. So yes, there are jail deaths, but he's accountable for his record under his administration.
We do want to have an opportunity for the rest of you to get your questions. So, Joe.
The jail has a music studio. The inmates are called residents, and some refer to it as a hotel. We'll start with you, Mr. Robbins. Do you feel our jail is a deterrent to crime?
I don't. It's not a matter of whether I feel that the jail is a deterrent. I would change things that are within the jail system that I don't agree with. I want to make sure that, number one, I hope that anybody that comes into jail that I'm running does not feel that they're at home. I don't want to see them again. I don't want them to return. So it's not a matter of making it to where they love it and don't want to leave it. I want people to check out of the jail. I don't want them checking back in. So there are several programs and things that are within the jail that I think could change that I necessarily don't agree with, because I believe in making sure, number one, that everybody's safe, not that everybody's partying. So that's number one. I want to make sure that I'm making sure that people have an opportunity to meet and talk to their families. But I want to make sure at all times that my staff feels that we're moving in the right direction, number one, to try to help these people on the rehabilitation side, not the side to where they're comfortable and want to stay or want to return. I want people leaving the jail and staying out of the jail.
Sheriff McFadden.
Punishment is for when you are convicted. We're talking about rehabilitation, and we're talking about reform. They say they may not have the programs, but they may be the wrong people to come, because we're trying to return our citizens better than they left. Imagine that the programs that I had was visited by the Biden administration. They came to see what we were doing inside a detention center. We're talking about reform. We're talking about making people better. So when we're taking programs like the music studio, we are doing programs to help them. We all listen to music every day. For what reason? To calm us down. But giving them something to do is better than have them sitting around and beating them. Punishment is when you are sentenced. We are a pre-trial release center. So we're going to continue to have those programs and continue to treat people with humanity. If they don't believe that is humanity, then they're in the wrong business. We are talking about rehabilitation and reform.
Mr. Collins.
You have an obligation when you run a detention operation to ensure there are things that are required in state law, that you try to provide the best possible care that you can. And that means whether it's through your security personnel, through your programming, through your medical health provider, that all those things that are required, that you try to do at an exceptional level consistently without fail. In terms of jail being a deterrent, it is a pretrial facility. No one there has been convicted as of yet. So when we talk about punishment, I don't necessarily agree that in a local municipal jail that there should be forms of punishment, but you have to adhere to the law and what is required in terms of your overall care and structure within that environment. That means too that you keep your staff safe and you make sure that those that don't want to follow our rules and guidelines while they're in there, that they're dealt with appropriately.
Mr. Nance.
What about skills? What about a skill set? Young men need skills. He has a rap studio inside his jail, a rap studio. So here's the thing. What is a rap? Rap is gangster rap, right? It promotes killing, and it actually promotes violence against women. And he had an individual who was actually committed or charged with a murder inside the rap studio. The public had outrage against it, and he took the post down. So these young men don't need rap. They don't need a rap studio where they can go in there and actually rap about hurting people. That is wrong. They need a skill set, trades. When they get out of jail, they actually make a difference in the community. So that's where it needs to go.
Sheriff McFadden, 30 seconds.
He obviously, again, has not been to my facility to see rehabilitation. He's just speaking for what he believes and what he thinks. I went to Germany and Norway under the Vera Act to study prison systems and correctional systems before I became sheriff. Germany and Norway systems is rehabilitation, it's humanity. We can't treat people the way that they have accustomedly treat people and think that we're going to get better results when they leave. Humanity, rehabilitation, and results.
But Sheriff, a homicide suspect was allowed to use the music studio and he was promoted as such. How can the community trust that this is a good program when they see people accused of horrible crimes using it in such a way and being promoted?
It's called rehabilitation, number one. Number two, no matter what he's been charged with, he hasn't seen his day in court. Why are we throwing out the door innocent to a proven guilty? If anybody believes that they can bring better programs to me, they can do it. Our door is open. We're doing what we believe to recreate a better person. We don't look at their charges. We're not classifying them. I'm not. We're just looking at the person and individual to give them hope and make our community safer.
Mr. Robbins, 30 seconds. Is it appropriate for a man accused of homicide to be promoted and participating in a program like
Not
this?
in my opinion, no, sir. I mean, I worked in homicide, worked with homicide families, now work with homicide support groups. And I think that anyone, like I said, they hadn't been convicted, but they obviously been arrested by the police department. So we feel that that person deserves their time in court, but the family does not deserve to be punished by having to look at this, and they also deserve their time in court.
It has been a spirited debate so far. We are going to take a short break.
Yes, when we return, the candidates will have the opportunity to ask questions to each other.
A cruel scam and a local...
Not a very good feeling, is it? I'm Blake Anderson, and if you've ever dropped your phone, wallet, or fries between the seats, you already know why I use the console catcher. It's a flexible insert that slides between your seat and the center console and stops everything from falling into that annoying seat gap. And when it's installed, that gap is gone. No more fishing for fries, earbuds, you name it. If you don't have one yet, scan the code on your screen now and get a console catcher today. And stop feeding the seat gap monster.
Are you tired of shopping bags tipping over in your car? You need the Auto Anchor, perfect for commuters, parents, or anyone on the go. The Auto Anchor installs in seconds on the post of the headrest and even works as a phone holder for hands-free viewing in the back seat. Scan the code on your screen to order right now. And with this special TV offer, if you buy one, you will get 3 for free. That's right, a full set for your car. The Auto Anchor is strong and durable and fits most vehicles. Scan the code on your screen and get your Auto Anchor today.
Cleaning is a stressful chore. You can scrub by hand all day. There has to be a better way. Now there is with the Spinny Scrub, the revolutionary handheld spinning scrub brush that makes cleaning a snap. Make pots and pans shine. Deep clean your grout and tile. Even filthy shoes look like new. The Spinny Scrub is easy to recharge and store away. And with detachable cleaning heads, you can relax and let the Spinny Scrub do all the work. Scan the code on your screen and order your Spinny Scrub today.
Hope to homeless and impoverished children in our area.
We bring joy to homeless and impoverished children by celebrating their birthdays and showing them they truly matter.
We give hope to mothers in need by providing them with essential baby items.
We show care to students in need by providing snack bags and hygiene kits that help them stay nourished, confident, and ready to learn.
ER Services asks you to consider supporting Bright Blessings.
ER Services is a proud partner of 9 Family Focus.
Welcome back. We want to give the candidates a chance to question each other. Each person was allowed to submit a question to us ahead of tonight.
And we want to start with Rodney Collins, and whoever's asked the question will be given 60 seconds to respond. But rather, Sheriff McFadden, we are actually going to begin with you.
Thank you. And my question is for Mr. Collins. What sheriff allowed you the freedom to make decisions while you were being only the single chief deputy? Because every other sheriff had 2 chief deputies.
I was allowed to make decisions in all the administrations that I worked for. So, and whether or not I was a singular chief deputy, actually, I had 2 chief deputies when you took office, and then one retired. So there's been 2. So I've always been able to make decisions to a point. Ultimately, some things run up to the level of sheriff, and those are his decisions to make. But my job has always been to protect the operation and to provide good counsel to the sheriff.
But the question was, which sheriff gave you the most freedom while you were at the sheriff's office to make decisions? Which sheriff, including myself, gave you the most freedom to make decisions as being the chief deputy?
That would have been Sheriff Carmichael. That was not you.
Mr. Collins, would you like to ask your question?
Absolutely. My question is to Sheriff McFadden. You've had nearly 8 years to lead this office. Today, we still see chronic staffing shortages, low morale, heavy overtime, millions of dollars in lost federal revenue, and repeated concerns about jail deaths and jail operations. At what point did these stop being inherited problems and start being the results of your leadership? And why should voters believe that a 3rd term would deliver anything different?
It stopped when you stopped supporting your sheriff as my second person, while undermining me as the sheriff and leaving only to now run for sheriff. And so it stopped and became complex when I didn't have the confidence in you, and when you were undermining me as being my second in charge, and I classified that as the ultimate betrayal.
Would you like to respond?
Absolutely, I would love to respond. I always supported and did my job to the best of my abilities. But when you talk about someone being unprofessional, being incompetent, making bad decisions, calling you a racial slur to other employees, but still showing up every day and doing your job as you were required to do in that role. So regardless of what he may feel, I showed up every day and did the job to the best of my ability.
Quickly.
So now you see my frustration. When a person is frustrated with what is going on under them and they found out about it, we all have made comments. And so clearly that should explain to you clearly how frustrated I was with you to have to talk to someone else besides my chief deputy. And yes, we made the comment under frustration, disappointment, and feeling betrayed. I certainly did.
We want to make sure we have a time for everyone to get in their question. Mr. Robbins, your question now, please.
Okay, my question is for Mr. Collins. What ethical boundaries should exist between the sheriff and employees under their supervision, and what policies should be in place to prevent abuses of power or conflicts of interest within the sheriff's office?
One more time.
Okay, what ethical boundaries should exist between the sheriff and employees under their supervision, and what policies should be in place to prevent abuses of power or conflicts of interest within the sheriff's office?
Absolutely. So the sheriff's office has a huge and robust set of policies as it pertains to inappropriate behavior, as it pertains to our conduct. We have an investigative body, the Office of Professional Compliance, that delves into those things. Top-down accountability starts with the sheriff. That means modeling the appropriate example. That means being the professional. That means supporting your personnel. So there are policies in place that already protects the employees from abuses of power and other things. The problem has become is that when it's at the very top, who do you report it to, and how do you address that? But in my administration, professionalism and ethical conduct is paramount.
And Mr. Nance, you have the last question of the evening.
Indeed. Mr. Robbins, you said on multiple occasions that you do not want to attack other candidates, yet you frequently emphasize experience as a defining issue in this race. You have over 30 years experience in law enforcement leadership, but you have not served as a sworn sheriff deputy or detention officer. How do you reconcile your emphasis on experience with the fact that your background differs from the daily operational roles within the sheriff office you're seeking to lead?
Okay, well, first of all, anybody that understands what a sheriff is, that's the most powerful law enforcement officer in Mecklenburg County or any county within the state. So by having law enforcement experience, if you will look at the history of the sheriff's office, the most effective leaders came from prior law enforcement experience. You are always a law enforcement officer. First thing you do is you're sworn to protect and to serve. So it's being a sheriff. Don't get to thinking that it just pertains to walking around four walls. You're still responsible to the citizens of Mecklenburg County. If something happens in Mecklenburg County, any incident, whether it's a natural disaster, unrest, civil unrest, or any other things, Mecklenburg County Sheriff's Office is the second largest agency in Mecklenburg County. After CMPD needs help, they're calling the Sheriff's Office. So if you don't have experience, exposure, and have been out here on the front lines when things are going bad, you can't come out there when it happens and start getting schooled up in 1 second. You have to have that knowledge before you take the office.
Thank you all for your questions. We do want to have a moment now for everyone to have the chance to share their final thoughts.
You will have 30 seconds for your closing statements, and we are going to start with Mr. Collins.
Thank you so much for this opportunity tonight to discuss my candidacy. I offer the citizens of Mecklenburg a choice for a competent, professional, credential leader, someone who has 30 years of lived Mecklenburg County Sheriff's Office experience. None of the other candidates can offer you that. They don't understand that operation from top to bottom like I do. So I humbly ask for your support and for your precious vote. Thank you.
Mr. Nance.
The sheriff's office need new blood. It needs a new individual from outside the infrastructure. I consider these individuals to be the good old boys, these three individuals. They've been in law enforcement their entire lives. They're retired. They're older. They're receiving pensions. They're retired. We need new blood in the sheriff's office. We need a new leadership, an individual who actually has experience life outside of law enforcement to lead this agency. and I'm that guy. Thank you.
Mr. Robbins.
Thank you. What the sheriff's office need is somebody to come in, somebody who is a citizen here, who loves Mecklenburg County. This is my home. Also, I've told you before, my 3 priorities are, number 1, making sure that everyone's safe and secure. That's the staff and the people that are under my care. Number 2, making sure that I can make sure that we can reopen the juvenile detention center, making sure that we retain and recruit people. But utmost, I want to make sure that you understand we've had 8 years of 2 people that have already served. We need to have something new come in and new inventive.
Sheriff McFadden.
As you can see, none of these candidates has sat in the seat of the sheriff. I'm the only person who has sat in the seat as sheriff under a global pandemic, Black Lives Matters, unrest, and now immigration. Who's standing up for immigration now? Everybody agree? I'm the only person that stood up for immigration. I have served you well. I kept all of my promises each and every election, and I'm asking you for that again. I'm the only person really know what happens in the sheriff's office.
Sheriff McFadden, thank you. And thank you to all of the candidates for participating tonight.
That's right. You have now heard from all the candidates, and now it is time for you to head to the polls. Here are some dates for you to remember. If you are considering changing your political party, the deadline to do so is February the 6th. In-person early voting for the primary starts February the 12th and ends the 28th. And election day is March the 3rd.
With no Republicans running, whoever wins this primary will be the next Mecklenburg County Sheriff. We would like to thank the candidates for being here tonight, and you can find every voting deadline on our WSOC TV website and news app.
And thanks as well to UNC Charlotte for hosting us here at the Du Bois Center uptown. And thank you for all of you watching. Join us at 11 tonight for WSOC Tonight. Good night, everyone.